let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're treating motor overheating not as the disease itself, but as a critical symptom that demands a precise medical-style diagnosis. Look, if you maintain or engineer industrial electrical equipment, you already know heat is the ultimate enemy, right? It degrades winding insulation, literally destroys bearings, and quietly eats into your facility's energy efficiency way before causing a catastrophic failure. But the secret to long-term reliability? It's not just pointing a cooling fan at a hot motor and hoping for the best. We're going to break down how to properly identify and completely eliminate the actual root causes of that heat. We're going to map out our investigation methodically today. We'll start with the underlying physics of overheating, move through the major causes, or what I like to call the pathogens, run through a systematic troubleshooting method, and finish up with the ultimate cure: root cause analysis and preventative maintenance. Let's get to it. First up, the physics of overheating. To really understand the symptom, we first have to understand the anatomy and the fundamental energy balance of an electric motor. So the crucial takeaway here is a pretty simple equation of energy. An electric motor's job is converting electrical energy into mechanical energy. But during that process, some energy is inevitably lost as heat. You know the drill. We've got copper losses in the windings, iron losses in the core, and mechanical friction in the bearings. If the heat being generated outpaces the heat being dissipated, well, you get a dangerous fever. It really just comes down to a fundamental thermodynamic balance. Now, here is where the math of those copper losses gets absolutely wild. Because copper loss is proportional to the square of the current, even tiny overloads are incredibly punishing. Think about it. If a motor's current merely jumps from 100 amps to 120 amps, which is just a 20% increase, that moderate overload creates an astonishing 44% spike in heat generation. Seriously, 44%. That's exactly why seemingly minor operational tweaks can rapidly cook a motor's insulation. Moving on to the major causes of overheating. With the physics locked in, let's group the 14 major causes of this fever into 3 main categories. We'll kick things off with the electrical pathogens. And let's face it, electrical faults are incredibly common. Whether it's an overload pushing way too much current, low voltage forcing the motor to draw higher current just to maintain torque, or degraded winding insulation from age and moisture, these issues rapidly generate massive internal thermal stress. Oh, and we definitely have to watch out for incorrect motor connections during commissioning. Getting the star and delta configuration wrong, yeah, that will absolutely tank performance and send temperatures skyrocketing. This brings us to a crucial point. You must absolutely never allow a motor to operate under abnormal phase conditions. Take single phasing, for instance, where one phase of a 3-phase motor is totally lost because of, say, a blown fuse or a damaged cable. That will cause the motor to overheat rapidly or just fail to start altogether. And it's a similar story with voltage unbalance. Even a tiny, seemingly insignificant voltage imbalance between your phases produces a disproportionately massive and destructive current imbalance. If you spot this happening, you've got to investigate immediately. No exceptions. All right, moving past the electrical side, we run into mechanical friction and load. Issues like damaged bearings or just poor shaft alignment between the motor and the driven equipment basically convert mechanical energy directly into destructive heat. And here's a totally counterintuitive fact. When a bearing gets hot, our first instinct is usually to just pump more grease into it, right? Well, actually, over-greasing can cause overheating. It's wild. We also have to account for frequent starting and stopping. Since starting current is several times higher than normal, repeatedly hitting start puts immense repeated thermal stress on the whole system. Finally, let's talk about environmental factors. In these scenarios, the motor isn't necessarily generating too much heat, it just can't sweat the heat out. Imagine blocked ventilation openings covered in an inch of dust, a broken cooling fan, or an installation just trapped in a sweltering boiler room with crazy high ambient temperatures. The heat simply accumulates until the motor literally cooks from the outside in. Next up, systematic troubleshooting. Look, when a motor inevitably runs hot, we can't just guess and start swapping parts out. We need a systematic triage. Let's walk through how we build this investigation methodically. First, we confirm the baseline data, actually recording the temperatures, current, and vibration levels. None of this it feels hot stuff. Then, we sequentially clear the systems. We check the electrical parameters for imbalances, inspect the mechanical bearings and alignment, verify the cooling airflow, and compare the actual load against the motor's nameplate. If all else fails, then we dive into deeper electrical testing. It's a strict 6-step process that just takes the guesswork completely out of the equation. Think of this matrix as your ultimate diagnostic cheat sheet for the floor. It perfectly matches the exact symptom directly to the underlying problem. For example, if you measure a severe current imbalance, boom, you instantly know to look for single phasing or a phase loss source. If you're seeing high temps coupled with high vibration, you're almost certainly dealing with a mechanical bearing or alignment issue. Having this structured matching in your head saves an incredible amount of time out in the field. Which brings us to the root cause analysis framework. Treating the symptom might temporarily cool the motor, sure, but finding the root cause is what cures the system entirely. This logical chain is what ensures we track the failure mechanism all the way back to its true source. You start with the symptom, gather the hard data, conduct your investigation to find the anomaly, determine the why or the root cause, execute a corrective action, and this is the big one, perform verification to make absolutely sure the data return to normal. We do this instead of just lazily swapping out a burnt motor for a new one. Because guess what? That new motor is going to suffer the exact same fate if the real problem is still hiding in the system. Let's look at how this plays out in the real world. Say the symptom is a high motor temperature. We gather the data and find the motor is pulling 115% of its full load amperage. Our investigation tracks that high current down the line, and we discover the pump discharge pressure is abnormally high. So what's the root cause? The driven equipment is operating totally outside its intended conditions. We fix the pump, verify that the motor temperatures drop back to normal, and we're done. The motor itself was perfectly fine the whole time. The pump was the actual culprit. Finally, we have preventative maintenance and the golden rule. To stop these failures before they ever even start, we have to integrate this knowledge into condition-based and predictive maintenance. By actively keeping an eye on these specific parameters, maintenance engineers can predict an overheating event way before the equipment is actually damaged. I'm talking about using RTDs, resistance temperature detectors, alongside thermography for thermal conditions. It means relying on IR and PI testing, insulation resistance and polarization index, to catch winding degradation early. When you combine all that with electrical monitoring and laser alignment, you completely shift your operation from constantly putting out fires to predicting and preventing them in the first place. And that brings us to the absolute golden rule for any maintenance engineer. Never, ever just ask, why is the motor hot? Honestly, that's way too broad. Instead, you need to instantly divide the problem in your mind by asking, is this motor generating excessive heat, or is it simply failing to dissipate normal heat? If it's generating heat, you go hunting for overloads, voltage issues, and friction. If it's failing to dissipate heat, you're looking for blocked vents, broken fans, and high ambient room temps. It is such a brilliant, time-saving mental short. By shifting your mindset from just treating the symptom to truly investigating the source, you ensure long-term reliability and efficiency. Remember, overheating is really just the machine trying to communicate with you. The real question is, how well are you listening? So, next time a motor runs hot, what's your first step going to be? Will you just point a fan at it and walk away, or will you trace that heat all the way back to its true source? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep diagnosing out there.
Why does a motor overheat? Common causes include overload, excessive current, poor cooling, bearing friction, voltage imbalance, and frequent starts. Find the root cause before failure.